As per this calculation, we got more than 182. So no need to go for second condition. Out of two basic, one he fulfilled, then we go for addition. In this previous year, we have to see what are the basic conditions. 1st March 2017, after staying in India for 15 years, he came back on 31st August during the previous year and more than 365 days for 4 years. How come? Hello everyone, I am your Adarsh sir, lecturer in Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence. So we are in the session 3 of topic called Tax Management 1. Now, in this Tax Management 1, what we will study? In this, so in the previous session, we discussed about residential status. What is the meaning of residential status? Under residential status, we had some conditions, basic conditions as well as additional conditions. If you want to become a resident, what? You should complete one basic condition and two additional conditions. If you want to become a non-resident, out of two, both basic condition, if you are not fulfilled, means you will be called as non-resident. Now, we'll do more problems on residential status. In your examination, you may expect minimum 5 marks. Sometimes it will be your 10-mark question. So what will be your today's agenda? The first thing is residential status. The small introduction about residential status. And the second part will be problems. Now, in today's session, we will discuss almost 3 to 4 problems so that you will understand better what is the exactly residential status stands for. And whatever the conditions we discussed in the previous class, so that you will understand better in today's session. So directly we'll go for problem number 1. We'll take some time for each problem so that you will understand better. The first 4 problem we will go slowly. Later, without explanation, you can solve your problems. Now, before we start this problem, remember the basic as well as additional conditions. Please keep it with you. While doing problem, you have to look at that so that it is easy to understand. Now, in this, problem 1, X left to Japan on 15th March 2017. Remember, the day he left, the day he arrived should be considered he is in India. For example, 1st January he left to Japan. Example, 1st January he left to Japan. 1st January has to be considered as he is in India. Then 10th January he came back from Japan. The 10th January should be considered as he is in India. The day of journey should be considered he is in India. Now, Mr. X left to Japan on 15th March 2017. After staying in India for 15 years, he came back 31st August 2019. Determine his residential status for the assessment year 2020 and 2021. As I told you, what is your assessment year? For every problem, your assessment year is 2020, 2021. What is your previous year? Whatever calculation, the day calculation we do, that must be on your previous year. Now, your previous year, 1st April 2019 to 31st March 2020. This we call it as your previous year. Now, in this previous year, we have to see what are the basic conditions. The first basic condition, he must be there for 182 days or more. Second condition, if he does not complete the first condition, the second one will be he must be in India at least for 60 days. Along with that, 365 days out of 4 years. Whatever the year, 4 years we mention, we will not consider the previous year. Previous year, it is only for 60 days calculation. Before previous year, preceding previous year, we have to go back 4 years. Out of 4 years, he must be in India for 365 days. Clear? Yes. We'll check whether he has fulfilled or not. As per this, Mr. X left to Japan 15th March 2017. But we are calculating which one? 1st April 2019 to 31st March 2020. We have to concentrate only 1st April to 31st March. Was he is in India or not? He came back on 31st August 2019. When did he come? So he came on 31st August 2019. Means very simple. Your year begins when? 1st April 2019 till 31st March 2020. We are calculating in between 1st April 2019 to 31st March 2020. In this, whether he was in India for 182 days, we'll check. Out of this, as per this question, now 1st March 2017, after staying in India for 15 years, he came back on 31st August. Till 31st August, he was not in India. Now, till 31st August, he was not in India. So, whatever calculation we do, we have to calculate from September. Clear? So, up to 31st August, he was not there, but September, he was there. October, yes. November, yes. December, yes. Jan, yes. Feb, yes. March also, yes. He was there in India. So, he was not there in India till 31st August, but from 1st September, he was in India. Now, how to calculate this 182 days? We'll calculate. So, how to calculate means, in the month of September, we have 30 days. In the month of October, we have 31 days. November 30, December 31, Jan 31, February approximate you can take 28. But we are calculating in the month of 2020, you can consider 29 days. We can call it as leap year. So anything which year we can divide by 4, we call it as leap year now. So March we have 31 days. So how many days? 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180 and 210. So 30, 60, 90 days and 120, 150 and 180, 210. Again after that 211, 212, 213. So 213 days he was in India. Now come back to your problem. As per this, your first condition fulfilled. He was there in India for more than 182 days. He was there around 213. It may change 212 or 214. I have not calculated exactly. We'll go for the answer. Before that, he must be there in India for 182 or more days. As per this calculation, we got more than 182. So, no need to go for second condition because he fulfilled first condition itself. Clear? Yes. So, he is what? he is resident. Once you're done with he is resident, again you have to go back for your additional conditions. What is additional conditions? They have mentioned he was there in India for 15 years. So additional condition 100% he fulfilled. So he is a resident as well as ordinarily resident. We'll go to the answer. Now, as per this, during the previous year 1920, he remained in India for 214 days. So we are not calculated exactly. As I told you, it is approximate. If you calculate exactly, it comes around 214 days. Now, hence, he is a resident for assessment year 2020-21. He satisfied the first condition, that should be in India for at least 182 days. He was there in India for 182 and more. Now we considered him as a resident, but we don't know whether he is a ordinarily resident or not ordinarily resident. If he is considered as ordinarily resident, if he fulfills additional conditions. Now, in this, he was not non-resident, that we know. Why? Because he fulfilled first condition. In India, out of 9 out of 10 years preceding the previous year, and he was in India for more than 729 days. Yes, he was in India for more than 729 days during this 7 year preceding the previous year. Hence, he is ordinarily resident. This will be your answer. Clear? Very simple to calculate. Just you have to remember the conditions you have to implement. We'll go for problem number 2. This one you only try to solve. Now, X is a foreign citizen since 1999. So, he is a foreign citizen. Now, he comes to India every year in the month of April for 105 days. Every year in the month of April, he comes to India. Once he comes to India, he stay back for 105 days. Now, find out the residential status of X for the assessment year 2020 and 21 in this. Now, X is not a person of Indian origin. So, we have 2 questions. If he is not Indian, X was born in Pune, means India. So, if he is not Indian and if he is in India. So, both we have to calculate. Now, you have 2 questions. First, we will solve A, then we'll go for B. X is not a person of Indian origin. As I told you, first we are solving A in this. X was in India for more than 60 days. The answer is yes or no? Yes. Why? Because every year he was staying for 105 days. 105 means it is more than 60. So, he completed, yes, he completed 60 days. Then, during the previous year and more than 365 days for 4 years. How come? Every year he stays for 105. 105, 105, 105 and 105. So total it will be 420. If you consider 4 years, every year 105 means he was there for 420 days. How many days he must be there in India? 365. So, I'll explain you. What is your first condition? He must be there for 182 days. Second condition, 60 days in the previous year and 365 days the preceding out of 4 years. First condition, he cannot fulfill because he was there only 105 days. 182 days we cannot consider. Then we can go for second condition. What is the second condition? Above 60, yes. Out of 4 years, 365, yes. So, he is an resident. He is a resident. Why? Because he fulfilled one of the basic condition. Clear? Yes. We'll go for additional conditions. Now, he was in India for more than 729 days during the 7 years. Yes. Why? Because 4 years will get 420, 5th year 105, 6th year 105, 7th year 105. So plus 315. It will come 735. So yes, he was in India for more than 729 days. Answer is yes. So every year 105 days means for 7 years he was there for 735 days. The answer is yes. He was not non-resident in India for 9 years out of the 10 years preceding the previous year. So hence he is resident and ordinarily resident. Clear? He must complete one basic condition. He must complete two additional conditions. Clear? Yes. So if he is an Indian origin, then how to calculate? Simple. He came to India for visit. He was not in India at least 182 days. The previous year, hence, he is not resident, non-assessment in assessment year 2020-21. If he is a foreigner, then we will not consider him as a resident. Clear? If he is a foreigner, then we will not consider him as a resident. So this is all about your conditions. We'll go to problem number 3. You have to work out once I done with my class. Now, Mr. X, a German national, is appointed in India as a senior scientific officer on 1/4/2016. So he is not Indian origin, he is from German. So he was appointed as a senior scientific officer on 1st April 2016. Now, on January 17, he goes to Iran on deputation for a period of 3 years. He leaves his wife and children in India. On May 1st, 18, he comes to India and takes with him his family on June 30th, 2018. Every date is important. He returns to India and joins his origin job 2nd February 2020. Determine his residential status for the assessment year. So there are too many years are there. So we'll calculate exactly. Now, determination of residential status of Mr. X, German national. He was not in India for at least 60 days. Why? Because I'll go back. He was in abroad only when he came. 2nd February he came. Now, so we are calculating what? 1st April 2019 to 31st March 2020. So, out of 1 year, every year he was in abroad only. Now, while we're doing from 1st April 19, he was not in India. When he came on 2nd February 2020. Almost end of the year. Almost end. Now, up to 2nd Feb, he was not in India. Now, up to 2nd February, we don't consider he is in India. He was in abroad. Now, 2nd February onwards, how many days are there? Just assume 2020 means hardly you may get in the month of February 26 days. In the month of March 31. Total how much it is? 57. What is the first condition? He must be in India for 182 days. Is it possible? No. Second condition, what? Option. He must be in India for at least 60 days. Is it possible? No. Basic condition itself, he has not satisfied. Then we will not move further. We call him as non-resident. First, you have to calculate from 19 to 20. Out of 2 basic, 1 he fulfilled, then we go for addition. In the basic itself, he has not fulfilled anything. So we'll not do further. We consider him as non-resident. Clear? Yes. So this will be your question and this will be your answer. He is treated as non-resident. The last problem for the day, very simple. Mr. Maitra, a citizen of UK, came to India for the first time on 1/5/2013. Old one. Then he stayed here without any break for 3 years. 1/5/2013 to till 3 years he was in India. Remember that. He left for Bangladesh on 1/5/2016. Exactly 3 years he was in India. Later he left to Bangladesh. He returned to India on 1/4/2017. Almost 1 year, 11 months. It is not 1 year, almost 11 months he was in Bangladesh. Again he came back to India. Now, and he went back to UK on 1/12/2017. When he came back, April. When he left, December. April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. We will not consider December. Beginning only he left. Still, again 8 months he was in India. He was posted back to India on January 2020. Again he came late. Determine his residential status for the year. Always consider first April 2019 to 31st March 2020. Now we'll see whether he has fulfilled basic condition. Forget about all your old data. First we need 19 to 20. If he fulfilled any one condition, then we'll go back his 2013, 12 and everything. Now, in 2019 and 20, when he came back on 20th January. So, till 20th January, he was not there. So, from 20th January till 31st March. So, in the January, almost 11 days. February, 29 days. March, it comes 31, 50, 60, 71 days. What is the first condition? He must be there in India for 182 days. Is it possible? No. So, if it is not fulfilled, what is the second condition? He must be there in India for at least 60 days in the previous year. Is it possible? Yes, he was there for more than 60. But it is not sufficient. He must be there for 365 days out of previous year 4 years. We'll check those calculations. So these are the calculation from 13 to 20. This is very simple, easy to calculate. Now, in the 13 and 14, whatever year we have taken, we calculated from 1st April to 31st March. So, while calculating residential status, make a chart like this. Easily you will find out the exact days. In 13 and 14, he was there for 335 days. 14, 15, 365, 366, 31 days, 245 days. 18 and 19, he was not there in India, he was in US. So in the, as we calculated, like we got around 71. If you calculate exactly, you may get 72 days. So these are, in the previous year, he was there for more than 60 days. Yes. In the 1, 2, 3, 4. Out of 4 years, how many days he must be there? 365. Yes. In 1 year itself, he was there for 365. Your basic condition fulfilled. Clear? Yes. What about additional condition? He must be there for 729 days. 100% he will cover 729 days. That is also fulfilled. He must be resident for 2 years out of preceding 10. See, he was resident, 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 resident. So he fulfilled all the conditions. So he is called as resident. Now, in this, Maitra will be resident and ordinarily resident because they fulfilled the basic condition as well as additional condition. In India for the assessment year 20 and 21 because he was in India for more than 279 days. Yes. He has not been a non-resident in India in 9 out of 10 years. Yes. So everything is fulfilled. So he is called as a resident as well as ordinarily resident. So what is the concept for resident? Once again I'll recall you. A resident means he must be basic condition any one basic condition he should fulfill. Now, ordinarily resident. So, one basic condition, two additional condition he should fulfill. Now, not ordinarily resident. Third one, not ordinarily resident. So for this basic condition, yes. Additional conditions, no. Then he will be called as not ordinarily resident. So this is all about your today's session. Just I'll go back and I'll show you all the slides. If you want, you can take screenshot. So this will be your today's agenda. And this will be problem number 1 with solution. Problem number 2 with solution. Problem number 2 again. Problem number 3 solution. Problem number 4 the solution with the table format. If you want, for every problem you can follow this. So this is all about your today's session. So the conditions you have to learn again. Keep your conditions in front of you while doing problem. In the next session, we'll do another 3 to 4 problems. Thank you.